says how to stop overthinking and overanalyzing.
Have faith that everything is going to work out.
Yeah, that's hard.
It is hard because we want to be in control of everything, but you're not in control of everything.
Yeah.
But if you look back on your life, every single person listening to this podcast can pinpoint different times that things just worked out for them. Because you know what? They got out of the way. They got out of their own way and they allowed things to unfold how they're supposed to unfold. I don't know why that works. I'm not a very spiritual person. You know, I'm not religious or anything, but that's the fact of it. Like when you get out of your own way and you allow life to give you what you need, you're just going to have a better life in general. You're not going to have as much stress and worry. Because why do we overthink? Because we're worried about something. We're worried that we're going to lose our job. We're worried that we're not going to make enough money. We're worried that our spouse is going to leave us. We're worried that we're going to get fat. Like, that's why we overthink, is because we're always thinking about what could happen. You do have control over what could happen to a certain extent, but there's a lot of shit that you don't. So if you don't have control over it, don't worry about it. But also just have faith that it's going to work out. What is the worst thing that could come from that mindset? Just having faith that everything's going to work out for you. What could possibly go wrong with that mindset?
I mean, realistically, man, unless you're talking about some life or death situation, nothing. You know what I mean?
No, there's nothing.
Like that. That's it. You know, and I actually tried. I was slow thinking of that or answering that because I really tried to think of something, and I can't.
You can't. It's having a positive mindset. It's that unwavering positivity that we always talk about. When you have unwavering positivity, you have faith that everything is going to work out and that you're going to obtain victory.
Yeah. It's funny because I feel like if you just kind of enjoy the ride, right? Just enjoy the ride. Have positivity. It's going to work out because it's going to. But the thing is, I think if people are trying to, counter answer that, like, it may not work out the way that you think it's going to work out, though. And I think I want to touch on that. Like, and that's okay. That means there's a different reason for it, though. So if I sit back and I want this to happen, so I'm just going to sit back and let it happen. Oh, crap, it's not happening. This didn't go how I wanted to. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. That means, okay, that didn't happen. Why did that not happen? Because there's a reason for it. And it's figuring that out.
It goes back to having faith as well, though.
Yeah,
okay,
and that's the part of having faith. Yeah.
And that also allows you to just accept it. My dog died. Well, shit, I didn't want my dog to die, but he's dead. That sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I lost my job. Okay.
Sucks.
Well, guess what? Go find a better job now. You have the opportunity to level up. My spouse left me. You guys probably weren't a good fit. There's someone better for you out there.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it comes down to. Like, things in life happen that suck. But that's the powerful thing about having unwavering positivity, is that allows you to not forget what happened because feelings are real, but it allows you to figure out a way to move forward.
You have two options when bad shit happens.
We talk about that all the time.
But it's the truth. There's two options there.
There's only two.
You can either be positive about it and push through and pivot, or you can just be negative as shit and not get anything productive done. Being negative accomplishes nothing. It is the worst thing that someone can do for themselves, is to have a negative mindset. I know that because I spent 29 years of my life being a miserable, negative piece of shit. And guess what? I was always miserable because of it.
Yeah.
Negativity does nothing. Negativity will hold you back from accomplishing your goals. If you set a goal, right? And you're one of those two types of people. You set that goal and you're negative. I'm not going to achieve this. There's no way that I can. I can't lose 100 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that compared to the positive person that says, okay, I need to lose 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's get it.
Let's go freaking do it. Yeah.
It's so obvious, but it's so hard because negativity becomes a habit.
It is.
It is a habit.
Destructive habit.
But like any other habit, you can break it. And I'm speaking from experience once again, because I'm a pretty positive person now, but it takes constant attention. I'm always like, it's easier nowadays.
Yeah.
But really, like, there for the first 6 months to a year of me making it a habit, like trying to develop this habit of being positive, I really had to stay constant watch over my thoughts and my self-talk and everything else. And now it's just natural. Like I literally start every podcast off with glorious.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think too, people have to understand, like I know it because I've seen you go through it. I've been through a little bit of my life. And even to go back to this question, how do you stop overthinking? Like realizing this stuff isn't easy. It's not supposed to be easy. So the more we talk about it, it's like, you just do this, you just do this. It doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. It means that you have to take each day step by step, take each day by day, right? Continue to move forward. When crap happens, keep going. If you're overthinking something, stop thinking about it. And you're going to be better at not thinking about it the next day. You know what I mean?
It's never as big of a deal as we make it out to be in our head.
That's also true.
And that's why people think that you're crazy.
Because we have faith it's going to work out.
Well, the people
or because you need to.
People, you know, you're stressing about something and you talk to your bro about it. And your bro's like, dude, who gives a shit? But to you, it's the end of the world. Let's use breakups as an example. That's something that every single person has experienced probably. You do have some people that just like met the one and now they're, you know.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome. But the rest of us have had to deal with the bullshit of breaking up, which sucks. Yeah. It's awful. But when that's happening, the world is ending. I'm never going to find anyone else. How am I going to continue living? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Like, and then you talk to your friends, dude. When I went through this a couple years ago with my last breakup, I remember talking to Gobble. Mm-hmm. You know, Gobble, like I talk to him every day about this shit, and God bless him because he listened to me just bitch and moan about this chick, right? It was always the same thing. He's like, Andy, I love you, bro, but this is not a big deal. And I'm like, in my head though, that's
life or death in your head.
Right. It's life or death. But that's what's ridiculous is that it's not. Yeah. Or like when you lose your job. Yeah, that sucks. Things are going to be hard for a little bit. It might be difficult to pay your bills. But guess what? If you have faith that it's going to work out, you get back out there and you start looking for a job because you know that there's a better opportunity waiting for you. Mm-hmm. So.
And it goes back to those one or two things with what you were going through. You either just dwell on it and let it ruin the rest of your life, or you say, you know what, I'm an individual and I'm going to take control of my life and I'm going to do something about it.
So that was actually the best thing to happen to me because I was definitely someone, I never stopped thinking. I never stopped thinking. Up until about 2 years ago, it was May, that I finally like realized that it wasn't normal. Right? So, because people like you that live in the present and they like their brain can turn off. Mine never turned off for 29 years and it got worse and worse. And man, I remember it was around my birthday, May 8th of 2020. I remember sitting there with my hands in my face and my head down, being like, I just wish it would shut the fuck up. I just wanted peace of mind. I was so desperate for peace of mind because that internal chatter never stopped. And I was like, you know, like I said, I'm not a religious person. I wasn't necessarily praying to anyone, but it was so bad. And I felt like I was losing my shit that I was like, I will give anything to make this stop. Because it was causing me so much suffering, overthinking. And then my whole life fell apart. But that's what made me, if it wasn't for that, I don't think it would have changed. I think I would have just continued doing it. But it's all my entire life falling apart that I really started focusing on being present. I read a book that's called The Power of Now, and that was life-changing for me because I didn't realize it was possible. But then, you know, this guy's talking about all the benefits of it, and I was like, it's that easy? And really all it comes down to, because now I want to give a tactic, right? Like we talked about being present. We've talked about, you know, having faith and all this stuff. Well, that's easier said than done. Absolutely. I know that.
Yeah.
Once again, like if you're stressing about something and you can't sleep at night and it's just getting worse and worse because you're not sleeping at night and everyone around you is like, bro, calm down. It's not that big of a deal. You wish that you could, but you can't. So what can you do to make it stop? You focus on the breath. That's it. Because here's the thing. The brain cannot focus on more than one thing at once. Like if you actually sit there and think about your daily process of thinking, you can only focus on one thing. You're only thinking about one thing. Now that one thing might immediately jump to something else.
Yeah.
But you're only focusing on one thing. And whenever you can get efficient at focusing on your breath in and out through your nose, which is also going to calm you down, especially when you're taking, you know, deep breath in through your nose and then exhaling longer. So say you're inhaling for 4 counts and then you're exhaling for 8 counts. That calms down your nervous system. It's going to allow you to think more clearly. It's also activating different parts of the brain that are more rational thinking instead of this extreme shit that you're currently dealing with. But when you focus on the breath, you're focusing on the breath. You're not thinking about all this other stuff. Now, this might only bring you 30 seconds of relief because it's hard to do. But that 30 seconds eventually turns into 45 seconds. And that 45 seconds turns into 60 seconds. Now you're at a minute of not thinking, which for people that are overthinking all the time, like I was at some point, and I still am, if I'm not careful, that's huge. Because like I said, man, I was losing my shit because I could not stop thinking. And I know that does that sound silly to you?
It doesn't.
Okay. So, but that's how bad it was. Like I wanted to slam my head through a brick wall because I just wanted this internal voice to shut the fuck up. It was thinking, first it was business. I'd never stopped thinking about business, which is still very difficult for me to do. But I have things set into place like focusing on the breath or whatever. And then, it was the relationship. I knew that was ending. So I couldn't stop thinking about that on top of my business stress. Then I'm a dad too. So I'm focusing on my kid. I'm stressing about shit with that. So nonstop, all the time, I'm just thinking about all this bad shit or all this shit that could happen or whatever. And I was losing my mind until I learned just to stop and be present. Focus on your breath. But that's the number one thing is to do that. You can also just go run. Just run until your lungs feel like they're going to explode. Because guess what? You're focusing on how miserable your lungs feel right now than you are all this other shit. Like running shuts up the brain because you're doing something. Especially if it's a hard run, you're focusing on getting that extra step. You're focusing on a faster time if you're trying to beat a mile. If you're hiking a mountain, you're focused on getting to the top of that mountain, especially when it starts getting hard. When life starts getting hard, as far as like physical exertion goes, you're not focused on all this other shit. You're focused on that. And anyone that has done Muay Thai or even jiu-jitsu or just, a really hard workout in the gym, they can attest to that. When you're killing yourself in a workout, you're not thinking about anything else. You're just thinking about getting through that damn workout because it's whooping your ass so bad. But what does that boil down to?
Yeah.
When you're doing that, what does it do? It makes you be present.
Yeah. In that moment,
because you're just focused on how miserable this workout is and how you want to get through it. Well, that's what's going on right now at this moment. You're not worried about anything else. You can't even think about it because you're just like, holy shit, I'm dying.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So that's what I would recommend is just try to be present. Focus on your breath. Just do a really hard workout. When I was talking about when all that shit was going on, that was another thing. Sometimes I just couldn't focus on my breath. Because my brain was literally like, we're not fucking doing this. Fuck you. We're not going to focus on this silly shit. We're going to stress and we're just going to be out of control and just always be thinking. And I'm like, okay, fuck you. I'm just going to go do sprints.
Yeah.
And that's what helped me. I remember puking. It was like, I don't know. It was a little bit colder outside. It was probably November or December. And I was running and eventually started slowing down. Then the voice would start again. So I just start running faster and then I puked and I'm like, but then that's the thing is for that minute, I wasn't thinking, dude. And whenever people are obsessively thinking all the time, that 1 minute of relief is so amazing. And you want more of that. But the way that you get that is through practice and by focusing on the breath.
Makes sense.